Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we have been working on getting a bunch of things done here, specifically food production. We need a lot more food. We also finally managed to clear out these guys that were killing all of our people up over here, so that should be actually quite helpful. Hopefully that will solve that particular depopulation issue. I see that we are net negative on our axe monies right now. We will see if that continues to be a thing. What's our current wage rate? 100? Okay. So we could cut our wages if we felt like we needed to. But for the moment, I think we're reasonably fine where we're at. I suspect that this is probably just waiting on one of our exports to go through. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But we are importing a little bit of maize at this point as well, so that is definitely good to know. Let's see. What is this in here? Weapons? Okay, so that's weapons as tribute. Sure. We are working on some weapon production, so that is good. Now, this up over here, the Royal Palace, this is about 3/4 done, so that looks solid. The temple is also about 3/4 done. So once those finish, that should help us fairly significantly. In theory. Emphasis on in theory. We do need a fair amount of additional workers out over this way. I'm looking through these cottages here, and there's only 5 of 8 homes here. Needs access to more education. This one, oh, that is 1 square away. Well, that's obnoxious. What is the service usage on this? Light? Man, that is literally 1 square away from having education access. I kind of want to relocate this from here to here, but we can't actually do that. 1 square away, huh? Okay, maybe instead we should build a home here, which would still reach basically all of the same places. And then demolish this home to free up some space. Like that. That should happen fairly quickly, in theory. So hopefully that ends up happening quickly. And of course, this mason yard still needs some workers, as does this alcove, as do these stone quarries, or this stone quarry here and this brewery. But I do think we're starting to get these jobs dealt with at this point. That's the theory, anyway. Now, our year-to-date on our money is very not good. That may have something to do with some of our traders having issues with the blockade that was up over here. But our trade mostly seems to flow out this direction. So I'm not entirely certain that that's a thing. That said, I have seen a number of traders coming in here, so yeah, we can see right there, our annual deficit is much better at this point. This is the yearly loss or gain. So that has improved significantly. We definitely see traders heading out, so I think we're probably going to be fine on that front. That person is dead. Okay. I don't know why they're dead, but maybe it has to do with food. That's a possibility, actually. I see that we have 12 meat here. Okay. So we'd really like to get more maize, fruit, and chili going on. We're working on getting some of this area out over here developed. And to that end, I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit awkward out over here, but a farmer's hut right here. And then we can do maize in some of these areas up over here. That's 13, 14, 15. So a 16th maize could be something like that. And then fruit trees would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, like that. And then chili beds would be something like that. And then this road would, of course, come down like so. So these are going to be a little bit awkwardly shaped over here. That's understood. I just want to keep producing more food all the time. We're going to need a lot of food, it seems. So that's understood. Food is absolutely a concern. Levies have been sent to Tlatoani. Okay, that sounds good. So this royal palace, definitely getting some progress there. It needs 71 additional stone, 100 artwork, and 50 gold artwork. At this moment, we're mostly funneling the stone in here, so that looks fine. Looks like we've gotten some of our artwork into here. Yeah, we're moving gold artwork into here, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. So eventually these will get finished. Eventually. We're, of course, still interested in getting this sentry post and alcove some jobs here, or rather some workers here. And we've got 5 out of 8 commoners there. That seems okay for now. So we need cloth to develop down over here. Diversion here. It does have access to this alcove and this alcove. So that'll be fine. Ambience is holding back development. Yeah, that's fine for the moment. This home needs access to a sweeper. So where's our nearest sweeper? We've got a sweeper here. And we don't really have one down over this way. So I'm thinking that we should probably put in a sweeper somewhere around here. Now, we might have a hard time getting people to work in that sweeper. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. We're down to 296. Okay, so we're losing people again. Noted. So that's going to cause us more job loss. And that's going to cause more issues. So what we really need, of course, is improvements were under construction here. Wow, that's actually remarkable. Okay, so what we need here, I think, is still more food. I keep seeing poor nutrition being an issue up here, and that's understood. We might want to consider a farm here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a farmer's hut right about here. And then we're going to put in maize. That's going to be 8 there. That's 12. That's 16 maize. Okay. And then we would do... actually, I've changed my mind on how I want to do this. I want this maize to go up to here. Like that. There we go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Hang on. Something went wrong there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That's more like it. And then we would put in some chili beds here to round this out. That's only 31, though. Something... Oh, we need it right there. That'll do it. I was going to say, something's going wrong here, but there we go. So we'll just get that in here, and I don't want to pause. No. I mean, we are paused, but there we go. So we'll get that online. That'll be another farm up in this area. So that will hopefully let us produce more food, but we're having a hard time with food production. Now, a big part of that is because we're not irrigated, and our fertility is pretty low. But we knew that would be a challenge here. This map is difficult to farm on. That's why it was having us initially be set up with imports for maize. And we are going to import some maize, theoretically. In fact, I'm going to drop down our salt import and import a little bit more on the maize front. There we go. So that'll be fine for now. We are working on significant exports as well, timber and wood being our primary exports. And our obsidian is pretty good right now. We're pretty stockpiled on obsidian, so I'm not very worried about that. That seems fantastic for now. So we're up to 298 at this point, and this farm will come online eventually. We've got a little bit more space for more farming up over here, and potentially up over this way as well, but down here is probably going to be where we're going to develop our farming majoritively, and that's fine. But we've got a lot of work to do yet. This temple is going to be finished eventually. We hope. And of course, our royal palace will eventually be finished as well. So theoretically, this is all looking relatively fine. We need 71 more stone here. We've got plenty of stone around, but we don't have all that much stone in these porter yards, so that's going to be a little bit yet. But what we really need is to get this farm online. This person is dead. And why? They're at -9 out of 21 health. I am guessing this has to do with food. It doesn't tell us why that person died, But I think we're seeing these people die due to lack of food. 95% certain about that. So we'll get this farmer online soon enough. It's already at 5 out of 5 commoners, which is kind of wild. But honestly, I didn't expect to need to expand the farms quite this much, even with us knowing for a fact that there's farm issues, right? So one thing we might want to think about doing is taking a road down this direction, kind of like this. Putting a farmhouse here, but then having it farm this area. So that would be a farmer hut here. And then the maze would be something kind of like this. That would be 11 there. So kind of like that. And then the fruit trees would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we could do an 8th here. And then we'd do some chili beds here. So this would be 32 out of 32. Yeah, something like that. So we'll get yet another farm online down over here. That'll take a little bit of time to get going, but it should be done eventually. And this farm up over here, we still don't have the farmers over here. We will get there. I'm guessing that we're going to have a significant... Oh, I minimized the game. There we go. I'm guessing we're going to have a significant lack of, out over here, specifically, market. So I'm thinking a market right here is probably an okay place to put one. This farmhouse here is able to reach this market, so this should be reasonable. We'll get that going. This is a forest preserve so that we still have lumber for this Sawyer, and that'll be okay. Levies not received. Really? Okay. Well, that's a little surprising, but sure. So we've got this Polk field, or this Megui field here. And do we have another one? Do we only have the one field at this time? We must have changed the other field over. I don't recall doing that, but that must be a thing that we did. Okay. Just having one is, I think, absolutely acceptable. So yeah, fertility is a bit of a problem, but we can absolutely continue to farm up all of these areas. So that'll be great. We need maize out over here eventually. Are you wandering? No, you're heading over to build the market. You just walked over in a really weird direction. Okay, sure. Now, these roads are never going to be connected up over here unless we connect like this, right? And that's probably a good thing to do, to be honest. We can take this road right up over here like that. So we'll do that for now, and we'll see that this market can reach to here, and then this market will be able to reach to here. And then this area we can develop for farming some of this area as well, like one farm here, and then we can do a farm here, a farm like down this way, probably a farm here, maybe one out over here, something along those lines. Okay, so we're still net negative for the year, although the year just ticked over, so that's not looking too bad in theory. We see there's plenty of cotton buds here. Our imports are going to start slowing down eventually, so this looks good. And this is our exports and our tribute, of course. So we need more stone here, and do we need to put more weapons into this tribute? Hang on. I'm just watching these popping up here. This will cycle soon. 50 weapons. Okay. So 80 is plenty. Good to know. So that's looking good for now. And checking in on our granary right now. So this is currently at 4. So we're still definitely having a bit of a hard time stocking up. That's not to say that we're not going positive on this. So we have 605 loads of maize in storage. It's just not getting to the granary at this time. So if we check around at our markets, we can see there's no maize here. There's no maize here. Let's see. There's a market up over this way. There's no maize here. Is there... Yeah, there's a market here. No maize here. So where is all of our maize? We have 614 loads in storage, and we're quite net positive. So where is it going? That's an interesting question, because I don't see... Here's 15 out of 40 maize in this porter yard. 4 out of 40. 8 out of 40. 2 out of 40. So some of this maize is here, and then it's presumably getting consumed by these markets. We'll keep an eye on that. Eventually, this should saturate these locations that are closer to the fields and start flowing into some of these that are further away. In theory. We'll keep an eye on our net maize gains. So we've got 605 right now, and we can store over 2,000. So if that number starts steadily increasing, then that's good, and we know that we don't need to build more farmland at this time. Some of our education venues are overcrowded. I wish it told us where, but I'm guessing it's going to be like this one up here. Yeah. So that's quite overcrowded. We have... I think we built a second one up here, didn't we? Maybe not. I don't see another one. So a second venue over like this direction, if we could squeeze one in here, this would be great. I think, is that 4? No, that's 3. We might actually be able to squeeze that in here. Yeah, this would be a good spot to put one. So we'll do that. That'll take a lot of the strain off of this guy. And we could also put one up over here, theoretically, which might not be a bad idea. Definitely something to think about. So our temple is making steady progress here, for sure. But we'd really like to see some of these jobs get filled out over here. 2 out of 5 commoners, 0 out of 2 farmers here. So that's noted. Checking in on our bays, 631. So I think at this point, we probably are just filling out our storage locations in these markets. I think that's mostly where this maze is going, is markets and perhaps 2 storage locations in the homes at this moment. So those should get filled out, and we should start to see some making its way over to the granary eventually. So we're down to 614 at this point. If we're holding steady on our amount of maize, then that's good, because we have farms like this one that aren't yet online, and this one. So I don't believe it's a transportation issue right now. I think we had a food issue, and a significant one, but it might be done now. I think we may no longer have a food issue at this point. It'll just take time to trickle all the way through our city here, because there's a lot of empty storage for it. I think that's what we've got going on right now. We're down to 584 maize. We'll keep an eye on that. If the maize is continuing to be net negative, then we will continue to expand. But for the moment, I currently believe that it should not be net negative. Now, we could definitely fit in a farmhouse like here and farm some of this territory out over here. But for now, I don't want to expand our farms further, because we may have some issues with that. So this farmer's hut down here, we need some people coming in here. That's for sure. In fact, we generally need people down this way. But I don't believe that this is a problem with not having enough housing. A lot of this is needing access to religion, which that will get fixed once this temple is done. So a lot of this is just, I think, a matter of time. Yeah, look at this. 675 maize now. So that's looking pretty solid. Keep in mind that our consumption of maize is pretty steady, whereas our production of maize happens in batches. So that's it's going to consume steadily over time. But we're going to, in theory, be producing more than we're consuming, I think. Small market has caught fire. Okay, that's this one right here. There's a well dipper literally right next to it, so this should be fine. I don't think that's going to be a significant issue at this time. I want to check in up on this farm. Okay, so this farm is definitely online now and starting to grow. That looks good. Looks like that fire is dealt with. No problem there. And we still need to provide levies for Tlatoani. This is set to Empire. Yes. We need 15 levies for Tlatoani. Okay. Well, we should be okay, in theory. Yeah, I don't think we want to do any conscripts. I was just reading that tooltip to see what that said, but I think that's fine. So this farm is now coming online as well. That's excellent. And we can see the fertility up here, not good. Yielding 1 point. Okay, so enemies are on their way in. That's noted. They're theoretically coming from the north. So they may attack over on this side. Oh, wow, we're actually making some progress on that. Remarkable. They may attack from up here. They may attack on this side. We'll see. For the moment, I'm not going to raise up our forces just yet. Okay, so this small cottage is now decent. Needs access to more education, but there's education right here, so it should be fine on that front. What we want to see is farmers coming online. Okay, where's the invasion point? Over here. Gotcha. So we're going to rally our forces over on this wall. There's not a lot of space on this wall, but we will rally them right on over. Excellent. So it'll take them some time to get there, but that's fine for now. Okay, so the Royal Palace is only working on artwork at this point. That looks great. And then down over here, the temple still needs 80 stone and 130 artwork. It's done with the gold artwork. So that seems absolutely phenomenal. I'm very pleased with that. We're now starting to farm this. That looks good. So that's absolutely excellent. And up over here, we can see, it looks like our trading caravan managed to safely get in-ish. And these guys are on their way, but we are currently... is this a trading caravan? Where are all these guys going? They're leaving the city. Okay, I mean, they're all gonna die. But sure. They're not going to fight either. Oh, some of them are fighting. Okay. Well, they're going to get absolutely massacred. I wish them luck in that endeavor. These guys are going to as well, which is unfortunate because this is a trading caravan. So that's going to be painful for us. No doubt about that. But eventually they'll arrive over here and start fighting us, and we've got the benefit of the walls, so that seems good. Now, these walls are fully built at this point, and it looks like we are now fully enclosed, according to the game, so that is very good. Now, we need to upgrade our noble compounds. So this one here needs access to diversion. For that, we need somebody to, you know, actually work in this alcove. Another thing we could think about doing is providing more diversion with, like, a plaza out over here. This thing is huge, and we don't have a lot of space for it. We could slap in an alcove up here, though, and see if maybe that gets a job, whereas this one isn't. Maybe. Okay, how's this attack going? Looks like we left, and we're all fighting right here. And we're, I think, hard losing this because we are not fighting from the walls. So that's awkward. This guy, or actually this lady, came out here and just fell over and died. Yeah, we left here and did not fight from the walls, and so we ended up losing this. That's very awkward. I don't know why we didn't fight from the walls, but we did not fight from the walls, so they're going to make their way in here, and at this point, I feel like we need to conscript. Okay, so we can disband this for now. And yes, they're going to break in, and they're going to do a lot of damage here. There's a lot of them, but all of our troops came and fought out here instead of fighting on the walls. I don't know why they do that when we have them told to defend the walls, but they definitely do. So that's understood. We're going to have to rebuild this, and that's okay. Eventually, we'll make our way through this. This was a common home. Yep, this was a farmer's hut. They're going to do a lot of damage out over here. There's a lot of them still. So that's understood. This is a significant problem, of course. And we would definitely like to rally some troops out over this way. But there's only so much that we can rally, right? So we're going to, actually, I'm going to redeploy them, like, up over here on the high ground. But our citizens will fight them, and eventually we'll get them kicked out of here. But they're going to do significant damage in the meantime. So that's understood. Very significant damage. And this is all because our forces didn't want to fight from the wall. They walked out here, stacked up, and all died. I don't know. It's kind of odd. But our citizens are fighting back, and we're definitely thinning the enemy ranks. There's no doubt about that one. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of them running away at this point. That looks good. But this has been very, very significant damage. And our levies were just dispatched for service with Tlatoani? Okay. That's rude. So we're going to need to redeploy this up over here, of course. Okay, there we go. The enemies have been beaten. Cool. So that was painful. No doubt about that. So this is the ruins of a common home here. So can we build this on top of that? Yes. This was a shrine to someone. I don't know who. Can we see how many of these we have? Well, we can go in here and see who's angry. This is probably a shrine to Tlaloc, is my guess. We'll put that there. So these were all common homes here, so those will need to get rebuilt. There we go. So that's all of this dealt with. Then we've got this down over here. This was a farmer's hut. This was a porter stop. And this porter stop was designed to have stone, and it was also wanting to have, I think it was chili? Yeah, something like that. Okay, so we'll have this be set to balance for both of those. This was a common home here, so we can definitely rebuild that. This was a gatehouse, so that would be down over here. And it needs to be rotated. That is not the button for rotating the building. That's the button for rotating the building. And then we need a piece of wall here facing that direction. And then we had a single tower right there. Okay, so we'll get all of that rebuilt. That'll take a little bit of time, but that's okay. We'll turn off our conscripts for now. But that was a very awkward fight. No doubt about that. So that's going to take some time to rebuild, but that's okay. This wasn't actually all that much damage, all things considered. So we'll get that taken care of, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to work on getting this rebuilt and work on getting our prosperity, culture, and might up. Our might in particular is very low right now, and that is not surprising at all. Although we may want to think about getting another fortress, actually. And that maybe could go somewhere down over here. Not a lot of space for this. Up here, probably. Yeah, we'll put that in right there. And then these guys will be allowed to do Empire service. So we'll get that going, and that'll be fine. Okay, so definitely time to put that cut in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.